So I've been going through every Persona game getting all the achievements, but there's been one I haven't touched yet, Persona 4 Golden, and it just so happens to be my favorite. You guys voted for it as the next game, and don't worry, I'll still do Persona 4 Revival when it launches, but for now, let's hop into Persona 4 Golden and grab all 50 of its achievements. Alright, here we go. We start the game and right away get introduced to Igor and our new assistant Margaret, since Elizabeth decided to peace out. And then we meet our protagonist, Yu Narukami, the chattiest of all chads, especially in the anime. I mean, come on. The setup is pretty simple. We're staying with our uncle Dojima and his daughter Nanako while our parents are working overseas, and hey, at least they're not dead this time. If you've played Persona 3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We also meet Marie. Same deal as Aigis getting added as a social link later in P3, Marie is the golden edition this time around. A lot of people aren't fans of her, but I think her arc genuinely grows on you. It doesn't take long before something weird ends up happening though. We shake hands with this gas station attendant and get a massive headache. Not ominous at all or anything. After dinner with the family, we get the usual I am thou, thou art I speech and end up chasing some figure through the fog. Standard Persona stuff at this point. Next day, new school. We talk back to our teacher like the Chad we are.
And he's just as much of a loser here as he was there. Huh, that's it. You're on my shit list. Effective immediately.
Then we meet the main crew. Yosuke, Chie, and Yukiko. Chie fills us in on this rumor going around, the Midnight Channel. Look into your TV on a rainy night while it's turned off and you'll see your soulmate. More rumors, more Persona 2 flashbacks. Oh, and there's this creepy kid who tries to ask Yukiko out. Keep that one tucked away for later. On the way home, things get dark fast. We end up walking right into a crime scene. Mayumi Yamano's body was found here, this announcer who got caught up in a scandal with a local politician. Not a great way to end up famous. Next day, we properly meet Yosuke and his not-girlfriend Saki Konishi. And that night, she's on the news for finding Yamano's body. We tried the Midnight Channel thing Chie told us about, and I'm not kidding, we almost fall face first into the TV and bash our skull on the table, so... Thanks, Chie? I don't really know who to blame for that, but I'm pinning it on her and moving on. Next day at school, everyone's ripping on us for saying we crawled into a TV, so what's the next logical step? To prove it's real, of course. So we head over to Junes, which is Yosuke's workplace. It's kind of like Walmart, but anime. And somehow we all end up falling in. Can someone please explain to me how these two pulled that off? This part has always bothered me.
Are you gonna pee your pants?
I've been holding it in all day. I haven't had a chance to go. Wait! Whoa!
On the other side, we find this room plastered with posters of Mayumi Yamano, blood everywhere. Super chill in here.
I can't hold it any longer. My bladder's gonna explode.
And that's where we meet Teddy, this weird bear creature who lives in the TV world apparently. He helps us get back out, but the next day at school, there's an announcement. Saki Konishi is dead, and you can tell that just wrecks Yosuke. We head back into the TV, and Teddy gives us some special glasses that we can use to see through the fog in here, and that's when the actual gameplay kicks in. And I grab my first achievement right here, the other self for getting Izanagi.
I am thou. Thou art I.
So... If you're new to Persona, go check out my Persona 1, 2, and 3 videos first. Short version, Personas are manifestations of your true self. We track down Yosuke's shadow, which is basically the opposite of a persona, the worst parts of yourself that you don't want to admit are there. Yosuke freaks out and denies it, which is the worst possible move because it just goes completely off the rails and starts our first boss fight. The fight itself is pretty easy. Spam Zio, guard when it winds up for a big hit, done. Yosuke accepts his shadow and earns his persona, Jiraiya. That night, we watch the Midnight Channel again and catch a silhouette of someone. We at home are all smart enough to know it's Yukiko, even if the characters haven't caught up yet. Igor takes this chance to walk us through the usual Persona mechanics, social links, fusions, all that stuff, and we're off. The next night, we tune in again, and yeah, that's definitely Yukiko, but the things she's saying are really weird. Like, really weird. Just listen to this.
I'm gonna go score myself a hot stud. I've got my lacy unmentionables on, stacked from top to bottom. I'm out to catch a whole harem, and the best of the lot is gonna be all mine. Well, here I go.
Something about this makes me feel gross. So Chie, Yosuke, and I make a pact. We're gonna go save Yukiko before she ends up like the last two people who are on the TV. Simple as that. Before we head in though, we find Marie in the Velvet Room. She's that girl from earlier. She lets us get skill cards, similar to how they worked in Persona 2, where you could turn them in and then buy them back for ridiculously stupid prices. So super handy. I'm definitely gonna make use of that. No, I'm not. We're never gonna touch skill cards. After hopping back into the TV, Chie gets worried about Yukiko and just bolts without us, so we chase after her. Combat here is your standard Persona fare, except we don't have things like Baton Pass. I'm sure the remake will sort that out, but man do I miss it already. We earn Advantage Mine for getting our first advantage by hitting a shadow from behind, so that's something at least. Advantage Mine. Enter a battle with a player advantage. Cool. I mean, that works for me. We catch up to Chie and find her shadow waiting. Boss fight number 2. This one's also pretty easy, but Yosuke does go down, so sorry Yosuke, that one's on me. All we really need to do here is have Yosuke use his wind attacks to knock it down, have you buff the party while Yosuke does most of the damage when he's not face down on the ground, and the boss folds pretty quick once we get into a rhythm. Chie accepts her shadow and awakens to Tomoe, and that's 3 party members strong. So from here on we'll have free reign to do regular Persona stuff. Social links, fusions, all that good stuff. I don't want this video to take 6 years, so I won't cover it all, mostly just the achievements and the main story beats, but we are going to stop at the Velvet Room and Margaret's going to ask us to take her rebellious teenager out of the house. I mean, come on, that's clearly what Marie is. Outside the Velvet Room, I hit the vending machines and win a free drink, which pops lucky me. Nice. Alright, let's see, which one of these has SP? I won a prize. Lucky me! Then I trade some kid one of those vending machine drinks for a bug. Gross, man. I take Marie out of the Velvet Room and kick off the Aeon social link with her. Wow, it's pretty big.
That's what she said!
We end up joining the basketball team at school, and our new Link Ko tells us how much he loves them balls. Yeah, well they go to their parties, I get to stay here and play with balls. I love them balls. Look, I'm a femboy, and that's still one of the gayest things I've ever heard. Guys, it's a joke, calm down. I trade that kid another drink? Yeah, that'll matter later. And then it's time to head back to save Yukiko. But first, one of the only real grinding sessions in this whole run, right off the bat. We need to hit at least level 18 for an Aeon persona so we can keep Marie's link going. If you're following along, save often and farm shuffle time on the first floor whenever you're running low on resources. Easy way to recover your HP and SP. I'll admit, this took like 3 or 4 hours, but I like being efficient. We also need matching Arcana personas in our inventory for all the social links because it gives us bonus points. It's really a mechanic I wish they just cut, but from here on, just assume I always have one on me. We've got a lot of links to max out. Oh, and my game crashed, so that was fun. Don't Mazio again.
Hurry and beat it! Counting on you. Persona!
My game crashed! While grinding, we knock out a bunch of achievements. Grasping at Greed for taking down a golden shadow, which I wasn't recording, but trust me, it's right there. We also get a favor from Marie for registering a skill card for the first time, and then the nose doesn't always know when Igor messes up my fusion. All that grinding and you mess it up. Thanks, Igor. Brother. F you, Igor. The nose doesn't always know. Yeah, really? Ugh. Right after that, we get Persona Shopper for summoning from the compendium for the first time, to redo what Igor botched. We reach Shadow Yukiko and she lays everything out. She feels trapped running her family's inn for the rest of her life, and she's been using Chie as a way to escape from all the pressure. I also get the feeling she may have some underlying feelings for Chie, but hey, boss fight time. This one's also pretty easy. I mean, with 3 teammates, we can have Chie and Yu focus on ice, Yosuke handles physical, and when the boss winds up for her big fire AoE, Chie just blocks. The little knight that she summons is weak to lightning, which we can just abuse over and over, and she goes down without much of a fight. Yukiko accepts her shadow and earns what's probably my favorite persona design in all of P4, Konohana Sakuya, and we get a prince appears. And there we go, 4 party members. Things are finally starting to come together. Might as well call us the mystery gang at this point. From here, we pick up some jobs and side quests, mostly stat boosts and dungeon errands, nothing really worth getting into detail on. I'll flag the ones that actually matter, but for now, it's just asking this girl on the roof over and over what her hobbies are, which I feel like would creep out most people in real life, but hey, if it works, it works. We also joined band class. Now, normally I'd go to drama club since I just prefer that social link, but I figured why not mix it up this time. I've never actually joined the soccer team though. 8 playthroughs, not once. In band, we start the Sun Link with Ayane, who's pretty adorable, I'll admit.
Oh, Senpai.
We'll also end up starting Chie's social link while we're at it. It is a rainy day though, so we can head to Sozai Daigaku for a super croquette, and that gets us Seize the Moment. Thanks. Yes, thank you. Seize the Moment by a special croquette from Sozai Daigaku. From there, it's mostly social links and stat grinding, nothing too crazy. Eventually, I hit up the nightclub and give the girl running a place a bug for her fish. Told you that would come back around. And she gives us a fish hook, which leads to a fishing rod. And we need that for more achievements down the road. Dojima promises Nanako a trip, but she's already worried that he'll bail like he always does. And you can't really blame her. I mean, she does all the housework because her mom's gone and her dad's too buried in detective work to show up. Oh yeah, Dojima's investigating the murders around town. I genuinely forgot to mention that. Yukiko comes back to school. We eat her lunch like complete assholes. It's just some instant noodles.
My fried tofu.
And Dojima cancels the trip on Nanako, who is of course devastated. Saw that one coming a mile away, but still, poor girl. To help Nanako not feel so lonely, we start her social link here, and she starts calling us Big Bro.
And now I have a brother too.
Damn, that's cute. Yosuke also says that she is good with her hands, and
Whoa, you can cook? Well, you do seem to be great with your hands. Never mind.
What do you mean by that?
after that, we'll head to the shrine and start the Fox Link. Mostly just side quests that rank it up, but the Fox can also heal us while inside the TV, which is pretty handy. We start working at the daycare to meet hot single moms in our area and also start another social link. Dojima ends up grilling us on how the murder started right when we showed up, and as a detective, I get that it looks suspicious. It wasn't me though, I swear. It does kick off his social link though, so yet another one. We ace our midterms because we're cool like that, meet Adachi at Junes, and start the Jester social link, which I'm pretty sure isn't even a real tarot card, but hey, we move. Then we start hearing about this guy named Kanji Tatsumi who beat up a biker gang. He shows up on TV and then on the Midnight Channel. Shocking. We try to spy on him and this little hat-wearing kid, mostly to protect Kanji, but that doesn't really pan out. We do unlock Yukiko's social link though. How many more times am I gonna say that? We tune into the Midnight Channel again at some point and wow.
Hello, dear viewers. It's time for Bad Bathhouse. Tonight I'll introduce a superb site for those searching for sublime love that surpasses the separation of the sexes. Goodness gracious, just imagine the things that might happen to me there.
Those repressed parts of people really go all out, huh? We also get Margaret's social link started before heading in. This one is just Persona Fusion requests, so it's nothing to stress over. We won't even do it until the very end of the game. Into the TV to save Kanji we go. I skip most of the fights here, but we do end up picking up a couple of achievements. We get Tactical Fighter for exploiting 100 weaknesses, and Fashion Plate for wearing a costume into a fight. Tactical Fighter, exploit weaknesses 100 times, and we're about to get an achievement for doing the costume thing. Now, a lot of people just write Kanji off as gay and call it a day, but that's really not what this whole section is about. Kanji's deal is that he's ashamed of his stereotypically feminine interests, sewing, painting, which gets him shit-talked by the girls. I mean, it was 2012, I'm pretty sure. And that makes him want nothing to do with women. It's actually pretty layered. Gameplay-wise, the boss fight here is rough. Never liked this one. The left enemy is weak to ice, the right one is weak to fire, so Chie and Yukiko can start chipping them down. But after that, it gets messy fast. I end up burning through way more items than I should have just to have Yu auto-attack at the end since the boss can't really dent him anyway. Not my finest hour. Kanji ends up accepting his shadow, gets Take Mikazuchi as his persona, and we earn a true man stand for pulling him out of there. And we promise to fill him in once he slept it off. We go back to our daycare job to get this social link started with the kid's mom, and hell yeah, older women. We also start helping Yukiko learn to cook. We get more of a look into Dojima's personal life, meet Ai Ebihara, who is something else, and then start helping Ko deal with this messy family situation. Tanaka's shopping channel is also up and running, same as it was in Persona 3. Works about the same way too, except we have 2 options to pick from each week instead of just the 1. And Kanji joins the team. He'll be useful for like 1 dungeon, but I love having him around. We join the health association, then Yosuke talks us into getting our scooter license.
It's like a squeeze play!
And Dojima actually comes through with a scooter, so now we can drive around town whenever. We also can get the bug net now, which gets us Bug Hunter for catching our first bug. We caught a Tatsuhime Ladybug, and we got Bug Hunter. Let's go. Holy shit, we got 4 bugs. We bag some baddies, then get to watch Yosuke have his hopes and dreams absolutely destroyed, which I'm not gonna lie, is kind of funny.
Oh, you guys.
Hanako-san! Why are you here?
You're really into me, aren't you? A motorcycle date, huh? I'll go with you.
Wait! My motorcycle!
Then the girls decide to cook for us, and what they put on the plate I can only describe as death. We almost actually die. I don't know what it was, but it was not food.
Hey!
We kick off the Moonlink with Ai after that, and she's a handful, but she gets better. Now, Rise Kujikawa ends up rolling into Inaba, and she's the top idol in Japan at the time. Massive pop star, model, actress, the whole package. She's been everywhere, and she decides to step back from it all to come back home, which just so happens to be Inaba. Pretty obvious, pretty fast where this is going with the Midnight Channel. We try to warn her and even manage to get an actual creep arrested, which felt great, but none of it changes anything because she still gets kidnapped anyway, so back into the TV we go to save an idol. We watch the Midnight Channel, and who shows up but Rise, and she's, you know what, I don't even want to get into it.
This spring, one young girl levels up to become a high school idol! Yay! I'm gonna bear it all for you.
Hey, stop! Why? I just don't get it. I always catch you fuckers watching this sick shit. This is sickening!
We start Teddy's link in the TV world, which is a nice little bonus, but here's something I want to flag. On the 24th, if you fuse Kaiwan, you can save scum your way into landing Victory Cry. A skill you should simply just not have this early in the game. It makes SP a complete non-issue for the rest of the game. It's kind of absurd. We also start Naoki Konishi's social link, which is Saki's little brother, if you didn't catch that. Really underrated link and definitely worth doing. Nothing too wild happens in the dungeon itself though. We take on the optional boss and bring Kanji along for his first real operation. Kanji really isn't a standout party member in P4. Look, by the end of the game, Kanji can hit like 1500 damage with his physical skills, so I mean, everybody's really worth using at some point. After way too long in this dungeon though, we come face to face with Rise, who does exactly what everyone does and denies her shadow. Her shadow's pretty upfront about what's going on though. Rise just wants people to see her as herself instead of this idol image that everyone keeps projecting onto her. The fight is probably the most straightforward we've had. She cycles through elemental attacks, we block and heal accordingly. We can't actually finish her off though. When she drops to about a third of her health, she just goes nope, and that's that. We do earn displaying adaptability for swapping personas 5 times during the fight though, so there is that. Displaying adaptability, switch personas 5 times in one battle. Okay, cool. I mean, fine with me. I like achievements. She eventually stops being hittable altogether, and we get absolutely clapped. Then Teddy comes charging into our rescue, and all's well that ends well. Rise accepts her shadow, and from there, she becomes our navigator, like Fuka was back in P3. She'll also help us start chipping away at what might be the most single annoying achievement in the game, true Risette Fan, but we'll get to it. This is a back-to-back boss fight. Teddy has a full breakdown right after, and his own shadow shows up. So it's back-to-back with no breaks. Shadow Teddy is predictable and easy to deal with, so far none of the bosses except Kanji's have really been a problem. I ended up bringing Narcissus with Tetrakarn to this one, which completely trivializes this boss. We reflect his big physical attacks right back at him for like 1000 damage every time. Other than that, just guard for 1 turn after he raises his hand or casts Concentrate, and you're golden. Get it? Golden? Yeah! I'll see myself out. Teddy gets his persona, and we earn Lounge's clothes for wrapping up dungeon number 4. From here, things do end up slowing down a little. We help our social links work through their stuff like usual, but no achievements dropping just yet. We start the death link with Hisano to help her process her husband's death, and we also get hit on by a nurse, which is interesting, but that's about it for now. We wait, and all of a sudden, another dead body turns up. Which is weird, right? We just saved Risette. Turns out it's our teacher too, Mr. Morioka, so that's not great. Teddy crosses over into our world, so buckle up for that. And he also gets a human body, which is a whole thing. We meet the pint-sized detective Naoto Shirogane and officially add Rise to the group as our navigator. We ace midterms again, because of course we do, and start Rise's social link to help her process leaving showbiz. And then finally, we pick up cooking with gas for making our 3rd dish to share with a classmate. Almost right after, we get head of the class for topping the exam. Our stats are high enough now that was pretty much a freebie. Everyone's looking at me with respect because I'm fucking awesome. Head of the class, ranked number 1 in your class on an exam. I wasn't expecting that because we don't have max knowledge, but works for me. Everyone decides to get their scooter license now so we can all take a group trip, which is kind of wholesome. But before we can continue on with the wholesome, we watch the Midnight Channel again and see a boy on the screen. The same creepy kid who asked Yukiko out near the start. Looks like our killer is taunting us to come get him. We do some digging, then jump into the TV to go after Mitsuo. That's his name, by the way. The aesthetic of this area is genuinely cool, but that might be the only thing I like about it. I cannot tell you how many times I died in here. Actually, I can. It was 8. 8 wipes, each time having to start the whole dungeon over from scratch. That footage is up on my Ko-Fi if you want to watch me get my ass kicked, but I cannot stand this dungeon. There has not been a single run of this game where I've enjoyed it. We do get to knock out a few achievements while we're here though. We get Fill Your Hands for our 50th sweep bonus, Fusion Expert, and Special Fusion Expert for hitting 50 fusions and using 4 personas in a single fusion. So at least something good came out of being in this shitty dungeon. Special Fusion Expert. Use 4 more personas in a special fusion. We reach Mitsuo, who denies his shadow. Shocker. If you walk into this fight without Black Frost, may God have mercy on your soul. Because even with your defenses buffed and the boss's attack lowered, the fact that he gets 2 turns every time he moves just makes everything so much worse. Yukiko still didn't have great heals at this point, so I brought Teddy along for the healing, and oh man, this was rough. I dropped this fight a few times. When it finally clicked though, we just ended up dumpstering him with Mind Charge and Augudine from Black Frost. You know that meme, your favorite game and that one part? This is that one part for me, every time. We drag Mitsuo out of the TV, he gets arrested, and case closed. We earn game over for clearing the dungeon. We all decide to celebrate, and Nanako requests omurice. So that's what we're doing. Cooking with the girls goes about as well as you'd expect, and it has one of my favorite lines in the entire series.
Try mine next. I don't know about this, but I think it'll taste good. This time for sure.
I'll give it a whirl.
How is it?
Wow, this tastes awful.
I'll admit, for the next hour, I accidentally recorded using my stream setup, so there's this big connection logo on top of the screen, which is still better than half of the video later having no audio at all. Love that for me. Recording issues are awesome. We get our shrine date now, and we choose Risette. Not romancing her this playthrough, but I am absolutely still taking her out to the shrine. She was my OG romance. We eventually take the trip we've been planning and get to see everyone in swimsuits, which Yosuke is really happy about, and we also get to see Kanji's, get to see Kanji's trunk, which probably made Yosuke happy, though he'll never admit it.
Look down!
Down?
We end up hitting up a fireworks festival, so lots of celebrating going on, and Naoto joins our school. We do an exchange trip with Gekukan High and get nostalgia baited hard by some P3 characters and locations. We get a little drunk and then tell Naoto all about the TV world, which they do not believe. But that was vacation. Not long after, someone shows up on the Midnight Channel, Naoto, and everyone loses it. But we caught the killer! Come on guys, it's only September, the game can't end yet. We track down Naoto, hop into the TV, and get some of the best dungeon music in the whole game. Comparing this dungeon to the last one especially, this one might be my favorite. Good music, interesting mechanics, and Naoto is my favorite party member, so there may be some bias in there, but we tear through everything and earn moderate bookkeeper for hitting 50% of the compendium. When we reach Naoto, we find out that he is a woman. When I first played, I saw that coming from a mile away, but still, Naoto just wants to be taken seriously as a detective in a field dominated by men. Not that she wants to be a guy. Characterization, people. We finish the boss with not much effort, to the point where I don't even feel like I need to talk about it, and we get Naoto out of there for Boarded Up Lab. Only a few dungeons left, but quite a few achievements still to grab. We start the tower link with Shu, who needs tutoring, which is probably the most forgettable link in the game, though I think every link in P4 is honestly pretty solid. We do end up picking up the achievement of Special Someone here because I kinda tries to commit suicide and we just decide, hey, you wanna be loved? I'll be your boyfriend, and that's how we continue her link, but it does unlock the achievement before we can actually decide on a real romance. This romance is temporary, so it's nothing too crazy, but you know, weird way to get that achievement, I guess. We help Dojima figure out just how much Nanako really means to him and max out his social link at rank 10. That's probably my favorite link in the game. I wish I had more time to get into the links, but we do earn a true bond for maxing it out. Naoto ends up joining the team, and Yosuke comes to us and says, "Please help me." He wants to put on a show at June-S, and who am I to say no? We spend a lot of free time rehearsing and do eventually pull it off. I can't show it because of copyrighted music, but honestly, you should just be playing the game yourself anyway. After the video, don't leave me. Shortly after, we earn Mr. Perfect for maxing out all our stats. That was the real grind of the whole run. Mr. Perfect, max out all social qualities. All by sitting in our room and reading books. Let's go. Now that we have max stats, we head back to Aya and eat a full ramen bowl, grabbing the Food Fighter achievement. There it is. After spending almost every single rainy day in the game here, we finally were able to eat the ramen. And now it's time for our actual romance. With probably the most canon choice in the game. Look, I know a lot of the Persona community isn't big on Marie, but if you can't see how hard they shill her as the intended option, I don't know what to tell you, especially once you find out who she really is. You and Marie are adorable. Cry about it. Back home, we get a letter. A warning that says, don't rescue anymore. So whoever the killer is, they know who we are now. We show the warning letter to our friends, but we're gonna put that on the back burner for now because we got more fun stuff to get into. We max out Temperance, start Naoto's social link, and max out Nanako's link too. But then it's school festival time. If I'm remembering right, this is where Persona Q and Q2 take place in the timeline. We turn Yosuke into a girl for a date.
Well, you guys are all wonderful, but I think you'd be the most reliable. I mean, you idiot, don't make me play along.
We become girls ourselves for the festival. Kanji and Yosuke aren't really pulling it off, but Yu looks fine, and Teddy is genuinely the best girl in the game. Naoto ends up winning the beauty pageant, and we get the obligatory hot spring scene because you simply cannot have a Persona game nowadays without the fan service. Duh! A bit after, we grab an acquired taste for having coffee at Chagall Cafe. Doing this is literally just for getting skill cards, so there's nothing to really say about it. We end up getting another threat letter from the killer, only for Dojima to find it, freak out, and drag us down to the station, so great. I try to tell him the truth, but he doesn't believe me. I mean, no kidding, right? Try going up to one of your family members and being like, "Hey, you know I can jump through TVs into another world and use demons to kill other demons?" Then we end up seeing the Midnight Channel while we're in the police station. And the next kidnapped victim is Nanako. We're the only people who can save her, and we're just here in custody, sitting in a police station. Dojima, of course, runs off because that's his daughter getting kidnapped, and Adachi lets us go. Dojima ends up getting into a car accident, and we find out our killer is Namatame, the same guy from the start of the game who is having an affair with Mayumi Yamano. His alibi should prove that he isn't the one behind the murders, but since he grabbed Nanako, we don't really have a choice, so we chase him into the TV. It's pretty linear, and I don't really have a ton to say about it, but it does have some really, really good music. I mean, there's a reason they got Hatsune Miku to sing the song in Persona 4 Dancing. Eventually, we hit both Namatame and Nanako at the end of the dungeon, and Namatame transforms into this big thing. He's throwing up peace signs, and I don't know, man, I hate this fight. Mostly because he just spams moves so randomly, and it ends up costing me a loss 10 minutes into the fight. The strategy I go with here is to just spam Makarakarn with Naoto and Yu. He does a ton of AoE spells, so he just ends up spending most of the fight hurting himself, which wraps up pretty fast. We save Nanako, Namatame gets arrested, and we're done. For real this time. Okay, if you look at the calendar, you know that's not true, but we earned the Return of the Angels for clearing the dungeon. Now, Dojima's in the hospital from his accident, and Nanako is stuck there too after being in the TV too long. Everything's just a mess. The fog starts rolling into town, and people are getting sick and panicking. It's all just very lovely. We take some party members to the movies 3 days running to grab Movie Buff, and then we spend another 3 days visiting Nanako for Big Bro is Worried. After that, we end up maxing both Naoto and Yosuke's social link and earning Fishing Master for catching the Sea Guardian, which we needed for some random quest. Come on, you bastard. Cool. That's a big fish. Fishing Master, catch the Sea Guardian. With your current diligence, you have many attempts remaining. Around this time, our party ends up figuring out that their glasses that they use in the TV world work on the fog here. Uh-oh. And right around the most pivotal point in the entire game, my OBS stops recording audio. Like, are you kidding me? God damn it, OBS. We head to the hospital to check on Nanako, and she dies. What? When I played the game for the first time, it genuinely floored me when this happened. Like, there's no way they actually took Nanako out back, right? Dojima is completely shattered, and he decides that he just wants to have a word with Namatame. He just wants to talk to him.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
Dojima gets escorted back to his room, and we go rushing in to talk to Namatame. That's when Yosuke comes up with a plan. Hey guys, let's push him into the TV, show him how it feels. And yeah, we're gonna pump the brakes on that one. When we actually look at the evidence, Namatame claiming that he was trying to rescue people, and then the letter telling us to stop rescuing, doesn't add up. He couldn't have been the killer. There's someone else. Then while Teddy is standing there with Nanako in her room with her body, he disappears, and Nanako wakes up. It's a Christmas miracle. I can't believe they ended up pulling that on me, by the way. I really fell for it the first time. I spent like 5 minutes just sitting there on a dialogue screen, like crying. We end up getting the whole truth out of Namatame and piece together who the real killer is. If you've never played Persona 4, this is your last warning that this is the biggest spoiler in the game. I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. It's Adachi. I ended up getting spoiled on my first playthrough, but my mom ended up calling it completely unprompted, like right at the start of the game. She watches way too much CSI, man. We do go for the bad ending first to wrap up the Jester social link, which nets us Bond Maniac. Worth it. But yeah, can't do all the achievements in one run. New Game Plus is required to get the secret boss fight, but we still got ground to cover. Back at the decision point, we tell our friends that we think it's Adachi. We go and confront him, and he immediately bolts and confirms everything. We chase him to the TV, and he's gone. Well, I guess now we just have to wait and bide our time until we're ready to take him on. Teddy's social link ends up maxing out, and he finally returns to the group. He finally knows who he is and what his past is. He's a shadow, but he's basically a person now, so it's fine. We all run into the TV, come face to face with Adachi, and he tells us everything, how he killed Saki and Mayumi. Well, at least we got the truth now. And yes, they aren't gonna pull a fast one on us again and say that there's another culprit to the case. Now we can spend whatever free time is left maxing out the last of our social links before the final stretch. While we're in here, we pick up a couple of achievements back to back. We get Skilled Commander for our 50th all-out attack, and Going Nova for cracking 999 damage in a single hit. I also do grind up to level 75 here so we can get Yoshitsune, which is my favorite Persona in P4, if not ever, and he just happens to be the most broken Persona in the game too. Yeah, at least until the Persona 4 remake shoves in DLC that literally tears the fabric of reality apart. With Power Charge on our side and Haso Atobi, Adachi doesn't even stand a little bit, like not even a micro chance. Even with his own version of Izanagi. And yeah, Adachi's a Persona user. Surprise. When he goes down, we do still have to deal with Amano Sagiri. Amano Sagiri is the embodiment of the fog and humanity's desire to hide from the truth. And he's been the one pulling everything from behind the scenes. Sort of. But we'll get to that. The fight plays out similarly to the last one though. I've settled into running Naoto, Chie, and Yukiko for pretty much everything at this point, and this lineup just destroys everything. After grinding him down for a little while, we end up winning, and the fog clears, earning us breaking through the fog. Killer caught, fog gone, game done, right? No, of course not. Fuck. The rest of the game though is the true ending and the golden content. For the golden stuff, go buy the game if you want the full story. I'm not walking you through every story beat here, but we'll skim. Margaret tells us that Marie has gone missing. We go about our days and she'll reach out to us when Marie resurfaces. We end up seeing Marie in a dream telling us she loves us. We go on a ski trip with everyone. Then Margaret yanks us into a TV and tells us Marie is planning to erase herself, which would wipe our memories of her. When we find her, Marie says she's just like the monsters that came out of Adachi and Namatame. She tells us to forget about her because if she tries to live a normal life, our world falls apart. When has that ever stopped us though? This dungeon is genuinely awful though. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the mechanics are terrible. So let's just pretend that it doesn't exist. Let's just erase that. We tell Marie that we're saving her regardless. That's when our fight starts. Phase 1 is pretty simple. Just wail on her. Phase 2 though, this shit kinda gets annoying. Now, the dungeon has been draining our SP the entire time, and it took our items too. No big deal, right? Just use physical skills, except no. The boss is immune to everything except Almighty. You better have hoped you picked up some resistance breaking items, because if you haven't, you're fucked, buddy. We did have a fire break item though, so Yukiko can absolutely torch this thing alongside Naoto. Saving Marie earns us welcome back. Marie makes Risette visibly jealous, and just because of that, I'd say that was time well spent. With that, the rest of the game is just wrapping up. We read every book in the game for compulsive reader, max out Margaret's social link by bringing every persona she asked for to earn Legend of Inaba, and eventually reach the final day where we say goodbye to everyone. We meet up, talk through everything, and something nags at us. How did we get these powers in the first place? What is the Midnight Channel really? So we start retracing our steps. We find Dojima and ask him what were we doing the first day we got here. We head to Igor, who gives us the Orb of Sight, which is something that can reveal the truth. And then we remember that gas station attendant from the very first day, the one that gave us the headache when we shook hands. Yeah, let's go talk to them. I do stop back by the Velvet Room and Margaret hands us the item for the Super Boss fight though. Do not forget this. I did, and I ended up having to redo like 13 days worth of content just to get it. Don't be like me, but I'll come back to that. We track down the gas station worker and push through the dialogue until, yup, they're a god. Well, that's cool. Into the TV we go. This is where we clean up the remaining achievements though, so let's run through them. The Reaper becomes the Reaped for taking on the Reaper. We ended up fighting this guy quite a few times with reloads in between them to farm Chie's ultimate weapon and the best armor for the party. I'd say Chie's and Yu's are really the only ultimate weapons worth getting, so that's why I just went for the 2 and then the armor, but I did it. We spend some time finally grinding out hardcore Risette Fan, and this is where I'll say it. I had about 180 Risette voice lines when I got here. Whoever the hell decided that this achievement should require 250 lines is genuinely unwell. Seriously, who are you? And why did you do this? I don't understand. You know how long I spent in this damn dungeon just listening to Risette go, "It's immune to darkness." I don't care. You. Sorry. We ended up getting Card Collector, which just came down to grinding old dungeons for shuffle time until I had like 50 skill cards to turn into Marie. After that, I did take a little bit of a break and we did the Teddy quiz game from the main menu, which answering earns us a new Quiz King. Back in the main game, we fused and did some more fusing, but eventually we got Thorough Bookkeeper for getting our compendium up to 100%. I hadn't dared to hope that you would be the one who could complete this monumental task. Thorough Bookkeeper, complete the Persona Compendium. Let's fucking go! With that done, we head to the super boss, Margaret. I mean, what did you expect? It was Elizabeth in Persona 3. It's Margaret here. We do get a good chunk of lore about what Elizabeth is doing now, though. Between Persona 3 and 4, she ended up quitting as a Velvet Room attendant, got her own persona, went on her own journey, and now she's trying to free Makoto from the Great Seal. I mean, I wish her the best of luck, but as far as we know, she's still trying to this day. Then we fight. And Margaret is honestly, and I cannot stress this enough, one of the most absolutely trash tier bosses in the entire game. I'm not even gonna lie, this was easy as hell. She might be one of the weakest super bosses in the history of video games, let alone in Persona. She's gonna be terrifying in the remake though, I already know it. But right now, it's a straightforward fight. We just buff, hit, she does her big full heal, and we hit her again and win, which nets us one who has proven their power. I literally didn't have to change up my strategy almost at all. There was a time when I had to fill up some SP for Chie, but other than that, Margaret didn't do shit. Here, I did realize I was missing an achievement, so I reloaded the game back to April and went to Shiroku Store on a rainy day to open the capsule machine, for it's working today. Don't hold that one against me, please. It completely slipped my mind. It's just such a random thing to do. But finally, we can take on Izanami. Pretty straightforward fight, to be honest. We buff up, we hit hard, we rotate, usual strategy. Naoto, Chie, and Yukiko make short work of her, and I mean, it only takes like 2 or 3 Hasotobis to just absolutely dumpster the boss. It's a solid final boss, just not one that causes much trouble with the setup we have. You know, I do have a funny story to tell here though. I spent 2 years not knowing that this was the final boss, and then I ended up seeing a YouTube video pop up in my feed that was like, "Oh, Izanami," and I was like, huh? Anyways, she ends up killing us in a cutscene. And if you know anything about dying in a cutscene, that's for real. But it does trigger the classic Persona moment of listen to your bonds, they will save you. And we awaken to use ultimate persona Izanagi no Okami, which hits Izanami with Myriad Truths. And if you know anything about Persona, you know that shit must have hurt.
By the Myriad Truths!
And that's it. Persona 4's story is done. Everything wraps up with a neat little bow. Yu heads home, we get the epilogue, which canonically takes place after Persona 4 Arena, but Marie goes on live TV and says she loves us, so hey, we do win in that regard. Before the credits though, one last stop at the Velvet Room for the biggest fusion in Persona history, I'm pretty sure. 12 Personas combined to make Izanagi no Okami, and we earn the final achievement, the Power of Truth. And with that, Golden completed for the 100%. So there it is. That's Persona 4 Golden, mission complete. It's been a hell of a journey, and honestly, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Though I did play it for way longer than I needed to this time around. If you've made it this far though, you may as well subscribe at this point. Drop a like too if you enjoyed. I've got more Persona content on the way. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.